What does it feel like to be the secret boyfriend, the hidden ATM, the man deemed too embarrassing to acknowledge in public? For 3 years, I poured my heart and wallet into Sofia Martinez, believing we were building something real. I bought her designer handbags, paid her rent, funded her lavish brunches with friends who had no idea I existed. She told me she wanted to keep our relationship private, that she valued intimacy over public displays. Like a fool, I believed her. Then one ordinary Tuesday afternoon, as I sat in a coffee shop waiting for her, something impossible happened. Glowing text appeared in the air before my eyes, floating like subtitles in a movie. Bullet comments, they seemed to be. Messages from some unseen audience watching my life unfold. The first one read, "Poor guy has no idea his girlfriend tells everyone she's single." I blinked hard, thinking exhaustion was playing tricks on my mind. But more comments materialized. Each one a dagger to my chest. Another appeared. Sofia's been using him as a secret wallet for 3 years. She's ashamed of him because he doesn't look rich enough, even though he's loaded. My hands trembled as I set down my coffee cup. This had to be some kind of hallucination, stress-induced insanity from working 80-hour weeks at my family's investment firm. Then came the comment that shattered everything. Tomorrow at her company party, Sofia's planning to debut her new boyfriend, Marcus Chen, the flashy heir to that tech startup. She's going to dump the ATM boyfriend right after. I sat frozen as the comments continued scrolling past my vision, each one revealing another layer of betrayal. According to these mysterious messages, I was nothing but a financial safety net, a secret source of funding while Sofia searched for someone impressive enough to show off. The coffee shop suddenly felt suffocating. 3 years of my life, 3 years of genuine love and devotion, and I had been nothing more than a hidden bank account. If these bullet comments were real, if they were somehow showing me the truth, then tomorrow's company party would be very interesting indeed. But not for the reasons Sofia expected. My name is John Williams, and until yesterday, I thought I understood my place in the world. At 29 years old, I am the sole heir to Williams Capital Management, a private equity firm my grandfather built from nothing. Our portfolio is worth north of $2 billion, but you would never know it by looking at me. I drive a 7-year-old Honda Civic because it is reliable. I wear simple button-down shirts and khaki pants because they are comfortable. I get my hair cut at a $20 barbershop because the expensive salons make me uncomfortable with their pretentious small talk. My watch is a Casio I bought in college. My shoes are practical, scuffed, broken in. My parents died in a car accident when I was 23, leaving me with more money than I could spend in 5 lifetimes and a desperate longing for something genuine. Something real. Someone who would love me for who I was, not what I had. That is why I never told people about my wealth. That is why I lived in a modest apartment in a middle-class neighborhood. Why I took the subway to work at our firm's downtown office, where I went by John Williams, junior analyst, instead of John Williams, majority shareholder and CEO. I wanted to find love without the corruption of money. I wanted someone to choose me, just me, without dollar signs in their eyes. 3 years ago, I met Sofia Martinez at a charity art auction. I had gone alone, dressed in my usual understated way, feeling out of place among the designer suits and cocktail dresses. She had been standing by a painting of a sunset, her dark hair cascading over her shoulders, her elegant dress hugging her curves perfectly. Our eyes met across the gallery, and she smiled. Actually smiled at me, the plainly dressed nobody in the corner. We talked for hours that night. She told me she worked in marketing at a mid-sized tech company, that she had dreams of becoming a director someday, that she valued authenticity over materialism. She seemed perfect, genuine, real. When I asked for her number, she gave it without hesitation. When I asked her to dinner the next week, she said yes. Our first date was at a small Italian restaurant in her neighborhood. I paid, but modestly, keeping up my carefully constructed image of a regular working professional. She did not seem to mind. She laughed at my jokes, touched my hand across the table, kissed me goodnight with a tenderness that made my heart soar. Within 3 months, we were officially together. Within 6 months, I was deeply in love. Within a year, I was supporting her financially. Gradually at first, then more substantially. It started innocently enough. Her car broke down, and repairs were expensive. I offered to help. Her rent increased unexpectedly. I covered the difference. She needed a new laptop for work. I bought her the best one available. Then came the designer handbags she admired in store windows, the expensive dinners at trendy restaurants, the weekend getaways to beach resorts, the luxury skincare products, the gym membership at an elite fitness club. I gave her everything she wanted because I loved her, because making her happy made me happy, because I finally had someone to share my resources with, even if she did not know the full extent of those resources. But there was always one rule, one boundary, she insisted on. Keep our relationship private. At first, her reasoning made sense. She did not want coworkers gossiping about her personal life. She valued privacy. She wanted our love to exist in its own sacred space, untainted by outside opinions. I understood. I respected it. I agreed. So for 3 years, I remained her secret. I never met her coworkers. I never appeared in her social media posts. I never attended company events or parties with her friends. When we went out in her neighborhood, she would tense up if she saw someone she knew, quickly creating distance between us until they passed. I told myself it was fine, that privacy was healthy, that not every relationship needed to be performed for an audience. But those bullet comments yesterday revealed the truth I had been too blind to see. Sophia was not protecting our privacy. She was hiding me. Hiding me because I did not look the part of a successful man, because my modest appearance embarrassed her, because she was actively telling people she was single while searching for someone better, someone flashy, someone impressive, someone like Marcus Chen. I had done some research on Marcus last night after the bullet comments mentioned him. 32 years old, founder of a trendy tech startup that had recently secured Series B funding. He wore expensive suits, drove a Tesla, posted constantly on social media about his luxury lifestyle. He was everything I appeared not to be. According to the bullet comments, Sophia had been cultivating a connection with Marcus for months, positioning herself as available, as desirable, as the kind of woman who belonged on the arm of a successful man. Tomorrow night at her company party, she planned to make it official. And shortly after, she planned to dump me with some gentle excuse about growing apart, about wanting different things, about needing to focus on her career. She would keep it amicable, of course. Would not want to burn bridges with her personal ATM until she was certain Marcus was serious about her. The bullet comments had laid it all out like a script I was unknowingly following, playing my role as the devoted fool who would graciously accept his dismissal and probably even remain friends. Still available for the occasional loan when Marcus inevitably disappointed her. Sitting in my apartment last night, staring at my phone where Sophia's last text glowed on the screen. Can't wait to see you this weekend, baby. Miss you so much. I felt something cold and hard crystallize in my chest. For 3 years, I had given this woman everything. My love, my time, my resources, my devotion. I had been faithful, supportive, endlessly patient with her need for privacy. And in return, I had been her hidden shame, her secret wallet, her backup plan. The bullet comments were still appearing sporadically, offering glimpses into a narrative I was apparently trapped in. But here was the thing about being able to see the script. Once you knew the plot, you could change the ending. The next morning, I woke up to 17 text messages from Sophia. Most were sweet nothings, casual updates about her day, reminders that she loved me. The last one, sent at 11:43 the previous night, made my stomach turn. Baby, about tomorrow night, I know we usually see each other on Fridays, but I have this mandatory company party. Super boring. You'd hate it. Let's do Saturday instead. I'll make it up to you, promise. Mandatory. As if she had no choice. As if she was not actively planning to debut her new relationship with Marcus while I sat at home like an obedient pet. More bullet comments materialized as I stared at the message, floating in my vision like augmented reality overlays. The first one read. Classic move. Push away the ATM boyfriend, so he doesn't accidentally show up and ruin her debut with the new guy. Another appeared. Sophia spent 2 hours yesterday picking out the perfect dress to impress Marcus. She used the credit card John gave her for emergencies. The irony? I felt physically ill. The credit card I had given her 6 months ago for genuine emergencies, she had used to buy a dress to seduce another man. The audacity was almost impressive. A third comment scrolled past. Poor John still has no idea. Tomorrow he'll probably text her something supportive like, have fun at your party babe, like the sewed doormat he's been for 3 years. That comment stung because it was probably exactly what I would have done. Yesterday's version of John Williams would have texted back something understanding and kind, would have waited patiently for Saturday, would have never questioned her motives. But today's John Williams had seen behind the curtain. Today's John Williams knew he was a character in someone else's story, and not even an important one. Just the foolish side character with deep pockets and shallow importance. I typed out a response, then deleted it. Typed another, deleted again. Finally, I settled on something simple. Sure, Saturday works. Have fun tomorrow night. Short, agreeable, exactly what she expected. Let her think everything was proceeding according to plan. Then I opened my banking app and did something I should have done months ago. I checked the statements on the credit card I had given Sophia for emergencies. The charges made my vision blur. $6,700 at Nordstrom 3 months ago. $4,000 at Sephora spread across multiple visits. $3,200 at a high-end restaurant I had never been to. The charge dated 2 weeks ago on a night she told me she was working late. I scrolled further back. Thousands upon thousands of dollars, none of it for actual emergencies. Designer clothes, expensive meals, luxury beauty treatments, premium gym classes, boutique fitness sessions. All of it charged to my account while she played the role of struggling marketing professional who needed help making ends meet. The bullet comments appeared again, piling on. He's finally checking the statements. About time. Another one. 3 years and $87,000 later, he realizes he's been played. $87,000. I felt like I had been punched in the chest. I scrolled to the beginning of the card's history and did the math myself. The bullet comment was accurate. Over 3 years, Sophia had spent $87,432 of my money. Money I had given freely, out of love. Believing I was helping my girlfriend navigate financial challenges. Money she had spent building a lifestyle impressive enough to attract men like Marcus Chen, men she considered worthy of being seen with publicly. My phone buzzed with a new text from Sophia. A selfie, her blowing a kiss at the camera, the message below reading, "Already missing you, baby. Can't wait for Saturday. Love you so much." The disconnect between her words and her actions was staggering. She genuinely seemed to believe she loved me, or perhaps she loved what I provided enough that it felt like the same thing. More bullet comments scrolled past. Sophia's already planning what to say when she dumps him. She'll claim they grew apart, that the spark faded, that it's not his fault. She'll probably cry to make it seem harder for her than it is. The next comment. She'll keep him on the hook for at least a month after, just in case things with Marcus don't work out. Can't lose the safety net too quickly. And another. Marcus has no idea. Sophia's been in a relationship for 3 years. She's told him she's been single and focused on her career. He thinks he's pursuing an independent woman. I set my phone down carefully, afraid I might throw it across the room if I kept holding it. Everything about our relationship had been a performance, a carefully managed illusion. She had been dating me in secret while presenting herself as single and available to the world, all while spending my money to make herself attractive to other men. The betrayal was so layered, so complete, that I almost had to admire the audacity of it. But admiration quickly burned away into cold, focused anger. Not the hot, explosive kind that makes people do stupid things. The ice-cold, calculated kind that makes people do smart things. Sophia thought she had this all planned out. Thought she could manage this transition smoothly, trading up from her secret ATM boyfriend to her public trophy relationship without consequences. She had no idea I could see the script now. Had no idea I knew exactly what she was planning. And she definitely had no idea what I was planning in response. I opened my contacts and scrolled to a name I had not called in over a year. Deborah Martinez. Sophia's cousin. We had met exactly once, at a family birthday party Sophia reluctantly brought me to after I had insisted for months that I wanted to meet her family. It had been awkward, brief, and Sophia had been tense the entire time, introducing me only as her friend John, not her boyfriend of 18 months. Deborah had been kind that day, one of the few family members who actually tried to have a real conversation with me. She had seemed genuinely interested in my work, my interests, my thoughts. We had exchanged numbers, ostensibly to plan a double date that never happened. I pulled up her contact now and stared at it for a long moment. What I was about to do would either be brilliant or insane, possibly both. But if those bullet comments were real, if they were truly showing me the future, then I needed to change the narrative completely. And sometimes, the best way to rewrite a story was to introduce a new character into a starring role. Before I could second-guess myself, I typed out a message to Deborah. "Hey, this is John. I know this is random, but would you be free for coffee sometime this week? I need advice about something important, and you're one of the few people who might understand." Deborah responded within an hour, her message warm and curious. "John. Of course, I remember you. Coffee sounds great. Is everything okay? Does this have to do with Sophia?" I stared at her text, considering how much to reveal. The bullet comments had started appearing more frequently now, offering a running commentary on my life that was both helpful and deeply unsettling. One appeared above my phone. He's about to make the smartest decision of his life, or the most complicated one. Either way, it'll be entertaining. Another scrolled past. Deborah has always thought Sophia treats people like accessories. She'll be very interested in what John has to say. That comment gave me courage. I typed back, "It's complicated. I'd rather explain in person. Tomorrow afternoon, work for you?" She agreed immediately, suggesting a coffee shop downtown, neutral territory away from anywhere we might run into Sophia. That night, I barely slept. My mind raced through 3 years of memories, re-examining every interaction with Sophia through this new lens of awareness. How many times had she steered me away from her favorite restaurants because someone she knew might be there? How many photos had she refused to take with me, claiming she just was not a picture person? How many stories had she told me about her life that carefully edited out my existence? The bullet comments appeared periodically throughout the night, like a Greek chorus narrating my spiral. One read: John's finally processing 3 years of gaslighting. This is going to be rough. Another: he's not even angry yet, just hurt. Wait until the anger kicks in. But the anger did not come, not the explosive kind anyway. Instead, I felt something colder settling into my bones. Determination. Resolve. A clarity I had not experienced in years. By morning, I knew exactly what I needed to do. Not for revenge, exactly, though that would be a pleasant side effect, but for closure, for justice, for the simple satisfaction of taking back control of my own narrative. I met Deborah at 3 in the afternoon. She was already there when I arrived, sitting by the window in a blue sundress. Her dark hair pulled back in a ponytail. She looked like Sophia, shared the same elegant bone structure and warm brown eyes, but there was something softer about Deborah, something more genuine in her smile. John, she stood as I approached, pulling me into a brief hug. It's been too long. You look tired. I haven't been sleeping well, I admitted. Sitting across from her. Thank you for meeting me. I know this is strange. Strange is interesting, she said gently. What's going on? Your text sounded serious. I took a breath, unsure where to start. The bullet comments appeared helpfully. Just tell her the truth. Deborah values honesty above everything else. So I did. I told her everything. How Sophia and I had been together for 3 years, but she had kept me hidden, kept me secret. How I had financially supported her, believing we were building a future together. How I had discovered she was planning to leave me for someone more publicly impressive. I did not mention the bullet comments, those I kept to myself, uncertain if they were real or if I was experiencing some kind of stress-induced psychosis. But everything else, I laid bare. Deborah listened without interrupting, her expression shifting from curious to concerned to quietly angry. When I finished, she sat back in her chair and let out a long breath. I'm going to be honest with you, John. This doesn't surprise me at all, and that makes me incredibly sad. What do you mean? Sophia and I grew up together, Deborah said carefully. We were close as kids, but as we got older, she became very focused on appearances. On status. On what other people thought. She dated a string of guys in college, always choosing them based on what they could do for her image. She wrapped her hands around her coffee cup. At that family party where we met, after you left, I asked her why she introduced you as just a friend. She laughed it off, said, you two were keeping things casual. But the way she said it, the way she looked when she talked about you, I knew something was off. A bullet comment appeared. Deborah tried to warn Sophia about using people. Sophia called her jealous and they haven't been close since. As if confirming the comment, Deborah continued. I actually tried to talk to her about it a few months after that party. Told her that if she was seriously dating someone, she should treat him with respect. She accused me of being jealous of her relationship, said I didn't understand because I was too focused on finding perfect love instead of being practical. Practical. I repeated, the word tasting bitter. Her word, not mine, Deborah said. We haven't talked much since then. Family events are awkward. I think she knows I see through her, and she doesn't like it. We sat in silence for a moment. Then Deborah leaned forward, her eyes serious. What are you going to do, John? I'm going to disappear. I said simply. Block her on everything, cut off all financial support, and move on with my life. She can have Marcus Chen and whatever future she's planned for herself. That's very mature of you, Deborah said, but I heard the question in her voice. A bullet comment floated past. She's waiting to see if he wants help making it hurt more. Deborah's got a vindictive streak when it comes to people who use others. I met Deborah's eyes. But before I disappear, I want her to understand exactly what she's losing. Not just the money, but the person who actually loved her. And I have an idea about how to make that clear, but I need your help. Deborah's expression shifted, something sharp and interested flickering in her eyes. I'm listening. How would you feel about being seen with me publicly? Dinners, events, social media posts, the works. Not fake dating exactly, but being open to the possibility of getting to know each other while making it very clear that I've moved on. You want to date me to make Sophia jealous, Deborah said flatly. No, I corrected. I want to get to know you as a person because you're one of the only genuine people I've met in years. But yes, I also want Sophia to see that I'm not the pathetic secret boyfriend waiting around for her anymore. And you dating me, her cousin, someone she introduced as just a friend, that sends a very specific message. Deborah was quiet for a long moment. Then a slow smile spread across her face. You know what? I'm in. Not because I want to hurt Sophia, though I won't pretend that's not a bonus. But because I actually liked you when we met, and I've always wondered what kind of man puts up with being someone's secret for 3 years. Now I know, you're the kind of man who was trying to love someone authentically in a fake world. My heart was suddenly pounding. So we're really doing this? We're really doing this, she confirmed. But John, fair warning, I don't play games in relationships. If we start spending time together and there's real chemistry, I'm not going to hold back just because of Sophia. And if there's no chemistry, I'll be honest about that too. I wouldn't want it any other way. We talked for 2 more hours. Planning our strategy, sharing stories, discovering surprising amounts of common ground. By the time we left the coffee shop, we had exchanged genuine smiles and a promise to have dinner the next night. As I walked to my car, a bullet comment appeared. Plot twist. John and Deborah actually have incredible chemistry. This is going to get complicated in the best way. I found myself hoping that particular comment was accurate. That Friday night, while Sophia was at her company party debuting Marcus Chen as her new prize, I took Deborah to the most exclusive restaurant in the city. The kind of place that required reservations months in advance, the kind of place where a single meal cost more than Sophia's monthly rent. The kind of place I could get us into with one phone call because my family had been investors in the restaurant group for 15 years. Deborah's eyes widened when the car service I had arranged pulled up to her apartment. Not my Honda Civic, but a sleek black Mercedes with a professional driver. John, this is too much, she said, though she was smiling as she slid into the backseat beside me. It's really not, I assured her. I have something to tell you, and I should have told you at coffee, but I wanted you to agree to tonight based on me as a person, not on my financial situation. Her eyebrows rose. That sounds ominous. So during the drive, I told her the truth. About Williams Capital Management, about my family's wealth, about how I had been living modestly for years trying to find authentic connections. About how Sophia had never known the full extent of my resources, had thought I was just a regular junior analyst living paycheck to paycheck while somehow managing to be generous. Deborah listened, her expression cycling through surprise, understanding, and then something like anger on my behalf. Let me get this straight, she said slowly. Sophia spent 3 years hiding you because she thought you weren't impressive enough. While you're actually worth more than Marcus Chen will probably ever see in his lifetime. That about sums it up. And she has no idea. None whatsoever. Deborah started laughing, a genuine sound of disbelief. Oh, this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. She's at her company party right now, probably hanging all over Marcus and his Series B funding, thinking she's trading up. A bullet comment appeared. Deborah's about to suggest something devious. This is where the story gets fun. Right on cue, Deborah pulled out her phone. My mother is at that party. She works at the same company, different department. Sophia doesn't know she's there because Mom's team usually skips these things, but there was mandatory attendance tonight. She was already texting, her fingers flying across the screen. I'm telling her to take a photo of Sophia and Marcus and send it to the family group chat. The one Sophia's in. The one where she's told everyone for 3 years that she's been single and focused on her career. That's evil, I said. That's justice, she corrected. Sophia built her whole image on being this independent woman who doesn't need a man. Let's see how the family reacts when they see her draped all over some guy none of us have ever met. The restaurant was everything I had promised. Elegant and intimate, with soft lighting and a view of the city skyline. The staff greeted me by name. The owner himself coming to our table to welcome us and recommend the chef's special tasting menu. Deborah looked around in wonder. You live like this? I said. I usually don't. But tonight feels like a good night to remind myself what I've been missing while I was busy being someone's secret. We ordered wine that cost more per bottle than most people's car payments. We laughed over appetizers that were tiny and artistic and absolutely delicious. We talked about everything, our childhoods, our dreams, our fears, our most embarrassing moments. And somewhere between the third and fourth course, I realized the bullet comment from earlier had been right. Deborah and I had real chemistry, the kind that made hours feel like minutes. The kind that made me forget to check my phone, even though I knew Sophia's world was probably imploding right about now. It was Deborah who finally checked her phone, nearly dropping it when she saw the screen. Oh my God, she breathed. Oh my God, John, you have to see this. She turned her phone toward me. The family group chat was exploding with messages. Dozens of them, all reacting to a photo of Sophia in a stunning red dress. wrapped around a handsome man in an expensive suit, both of them smiling at the camera like they were announcing an engagement. Sophia's aunt had written, "I thought you said you were single and not looking. Who is this?" Her uncle, Sofia, Maria Martinez, "You told your mother last month you didn't have time for dating. What's going on?" Her grandmother, "Is this your boyfriend? Why haven't we met him? Are you ashamed of us?" And then, most damningly, a message from Deborah's mother. "That's Marcus Chen. I work with him. He's been telling everyone at the office that he's been single for 6 months and just started seeing someone new. Sophia, does he know about John?" The chat went silent after that message. I could see Sophia had read it, the little check marks confirming her horror. But she hadn't responded. My phone buzzed. Then again. Then continuously, a barrage of texts and calls from Sophia's number. I declined the first call. And the second. And the third. A bullet comment appeared. "Sophia just excused herself to the bathroom. She's having a full panic attack. Marcus is confused about who John is." Another one followed. "This is the beginning of the end. Everything Sophia built is collapsing in real time." Deborah was reading her own messages now, her mother privately filling her in on the chaos happening at the company party. "Mom says Sophia tried to play it off like you were an ex from years ago, but someone in the family group chat just posted screenshots of Sophia's credit card statements that somehow got leaked." My blood ran cold. "What? Not yours?" Deborah quickly clarified, seeing my expression. "Her personal card? The one she apparently maxed out 3 months ago and never paid off. Someone in the family works at her bank, saw her financial situation, and just exposed her in the group chat. She's $60,000 in debt, John. Personal debt, not counting whatever she spent of your money." The bullet comments started scrolling rapidly. "Sophia's been living a completely fake life, even beyond what John knew. She's in massive debt trying to be honest, maintain appearances." Another appeared. "The family's turning on her. Too many lies, too much deception. She's about to lose more than just John." I should have felt vindicated. I should have felt satisfied. Instead, I just felt sad. Sad that someone could be so desperate for external validation that they would destroy their own life, building a false image. Deborah reached across the table and took my hand. "Hey. You okay?" "I think I am," I said, and meant it. "For the first time in 3 years, I actually am." "Good," she said softly. "Because I really like you, John Williams. Not your money, not your connections. You. The man who's been genuine and kind even when someone took advantage of that kindness." My phone was still buzzing incessantly. 47 missed calls from Sophia now. 62 unread texts. I turned it off completely and looked at Deborah. "What do you say we get dessert and pretend the outside world doesn't exist for 1 more hour?" She smiled. "I'd say that sounds perfect." The next 3 weeks were a whirlwind. Deborah and I saw each other almost every day, and what had started as a strategic arrangement to send a message to Sophia had evolved into something startlingly real. She was everything Sophia wasn't: open, honest, genuinely interested in me as a person, rather than what I could provide. We kept our new relationship public, posting photos on social media, going to popular restaurants, attending gallery openings and charity events. I dressed better now. Let Deborah help me shop for clothes that fit properly and reflected my actual status. I traded the Honda Civic for a Mercedes. I stopped hiding who I was. And through it all, Sophia's messages kept coming. First angry, accusing me of cheating on her with her own cousin. Then desperate, claiming everything was a misunderstanding, that Marcus meant nothing. That the family had overreacted. Then manipulative. Reminding me of 3 years together. Of everything we had shared, of how much she loved me. I ignored every single message. Blocked her number. Blocked her on every social media platform. Cut off the credit card I had given her. Disappeared from her life as completely as I had existed in it, like a ghost who had finally stopped haunting. The bullet comments confirmed that she was spiraling. Her relationship with Marcus had imploded after he learned about me and accused her of being a liar. Her family had distanced themselves after the debt revelation. Her coworkers whispered about her now, the woman who had pretended to be someone she wasn't. But I was done caring about Sophia's problems. I was building something new with Deborah, something honest and real and surprisingly beautiful. Then one evening, exactly 4 weeks after that first coffee meeting with Deborah, I did something that would change everything. I proposed. Not because I wanted to hurt Sophia, though that would be an inevitable side effect, but because, somewhere in the past month, I had fallen genuinely in love with Deborah Martinez. She knew all of me, the wealthy CEO, and the modest man who liked simple things, and she loved both versions equally. We were back at that same exclusive restaurant, the place that had become our spot. I had planned it carefully, working with the staff to create the perfect moment. Right as dessert was being served, the lights dimmed and a quartet I had hired began playing softly in the corner. Deborah looked around in confusion as I stood from my seat and dropped to one knee beside the table. Her hands flew to her mouth. "John, what are you doing?" "Deborah Martinez," I said, pulling out a ring I had spent 2 weeks choosing. A vintage emerald surrounded by diamonds that reminded me of her eyes. "4 weeks ago, you agreed to have coffee with a stranger who needed advice. You could have said no. You could have stayed out of this mess. But you didn't. You chose kindness. You chose honesty. You chose to give me a chance." Tears were already streaming down her face. "These past few weeks with you have been the most genuine, most real, most happy weeks of my entire life. You see me, all of me, and you don't want me to be anything other than who I am. That's the rarest gift anyone has ever given me." The other diners were watching now, phones out, recording. I had expected that, wanted it even. I know this is fast. I know people will say it's too soon. But when you've spent 3 years living a lie, you recognize truth when you finally find it. And Deborah, you are my truth. So I'm asking you, in front of all these people, with no secrets and no shame, will you marry me? She was sobbing now, nodding before she could even speak. "Yes," she finally managed. "Yes, yes, of course, yes." The restaurant erupted in applause as I slid the ring onto her finger and pulled her into a kiss. It was perfect, magical, everything a proposal should be, and I made sure. Every moment of it was posted to social media within minutes. The bullet comments appeared, scrolling fast. Direct hit. "Sophia's going to see this in 3, 2, 1. Another one. Oh, this is beautiful. Poetic justice at its finest." And then. Warning. Incoming nuclear meltdown. Sophia just saw the posts. My phone, which I had reluctantly turned back on for emergencies, immediately started buzzing. Not Sophia's number, that was still blocked, but a number I didn't recognize. Then another. Then another. Deborah looked at the screen and then at me. "She's calling from different phones. Don't answer." But the calls kept coming. 10 different numbers in 5 minutes. Then text messages started arriving from email addresses, from social media accounts I hadn't blocked yet, all of them from Sophia. "Please talk to me. This is insane, you can't marry her. You barely know Deborah, this is just revenge against me. I made mistakes, but this is too far. She's my cousin, how could you both do this to me?" Deborah read them over my shoulder, her expression hardening. "She's making this about her. Your proposal, our engagement, she's making it about her pain. That's what she does," I said quietly. "Everything is about her. Always has been." More bullet comments appeared. "Sophia's on her way to the restaurant. She found out where you are from one of the social media posts. Estimated arrival, 10 minutes. I showed the comment to Deborah. Wait, I showed the information to Deborah without explaining how I knew. "We should probably leave. She's coming here." "No," Deborah said firmly. "We're not running. We're not hiding. That's what she made you do for 3 years. We're staying right here and finishing our celebration." So we stayed. We ordered champagne. We called our families. Deborah's mother crying happy tears. My aunt and uncle who had raised me after my parents died, expressing shocked joy. We took more photos. We laughed and kissed and basked in the happiness of the moment. And then Sophia walked through the restaurant doors. She looked terrible. Her hair was unwashed, pulled back in a messy ponytail. Her clothes were wrinkled, her makeup smudged like she had been crying. She scanned the restaurant wildly until her eyes landed on our table. The maitre d' tried to stop her, but she pushed past him, stumbling slightly as she rushed toward us. "John." Her voice was too loud for the elegant space. Other diners turned to stare. "John, please, we need to talk." I stood slowly, positioning myself slightly in front of Deborah. "Sophia, you need to leave. Not until you listen to me." She was crying now, mascara running down her cheeks. "You can't marry her. You can't, this is insane." "What's insane," I said calmly, "is thinking you have any say in my life after what you did." "I made mistakes." She sobbed. "I know I did, but 3 years has to count for something." "You loved me." "I did." I agreed. "I loved someone I thought existed. Someone genuine and real. But that person was never you, Sophia. That was just a character you played when it was convenient." She turned to Deborah, her expression twisted with betrayal. "And you, how could you? She's your cousin." Deborah stood, her voice steady and cold. "You introduced John as just a friend. You told the whole family you were single. You spent 3 years using him while being ashamed of him. Why would I have any loyalty to you over him? Because we're family. Family doesn't treat people like disposable ATMs." Deborah shot back. "You did this, Sophia. You created this situation. And now you have to live with the consequences." Security had arrived now, 2 large men in suits flanking Sophia. She looked at me desperately, her voice breaking. "John, please. I love you. I really do love you. I was just confused, I made mistakes, but we can fix this. Don't marry her. Please don't marry her." For a moment, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. Then I remembered 3 years of being hidden, of being dismissed, of being valued only for my wallet. "Sophia," I said quietly, "you don't love me. You love what I provided. And the saddest part is, if you had just been honest, if you had treated me with basic respect, I would have given you everything. But you couldn't even give me that basic dignity." I took Deborah's hand, the engagement ring catching the light. "Now if you'll excuse us, my fiancé and I are celebrating. Security will show you out." The guards moved forward. Sophia tried to resist, still crying, still begging, but they gently but firmly escorted her toward the exit. As she reached the door, she turned back one last time. "You'll regret this," she screamed. "Both of you will regret this." Then she was gone, and the restaurant slowly returned to normal, the other diners politely pretending they hadn't just witnessed a complete meltdown. I sat back down, my hands shaking slightly. Deborah squeezed my fingers. "That was brutal. That was necessary," I corrected. A bullet comment appeared, "Final boss defeated." But wait. There's an epilogue coming. I smiled despite everything. "I think we need more champagne." "I think you're absolutely right." Deborah agreed. 3 months later, Deborah and I stood at the altar of the grand ballroom in the city's most prestigious hotel. We had planned the wedding quickly but elegantly, inviting 200 guests, a mix of my business associates, our friends, and Deborah's extended family. That family included Sophia, who had received an invitation despite Deborah's initial protests. I had insisted, not out of cruelty, but because I wanted complete closure. I wanted Sophia to see exactly what she had lost, to understand the reality of her choices. According to the bullet comments that still occasionally appeared in my vision, Sophia had spent the past 3 months in a downward spiral. She had lost her job after the company party incident, lost most of her friends when her financial lies came to light, and was now living in a small apartment, working retail to pay off her crushing debt. The comments also mentioned that she had debated whether to attend the wedding for weeks, ultimately deciding to come because she needed to see me one last time, needed to try one final appeal to my sympathy. I didn't tell Deborah about the bullet comments. I had started to think of them as my own private narration, a strange gift that had saved me from wasting more years on someone who didn't value me. Whether they were real or just my subconscious working overtime, they had served their purpose. The ceremony was beautiful. Deborah wore a dress that made her look like something out of a fairy tale, all ivory lace, and delicate beading. My hands shook as I held hers at the altar, not from nerves, but from overwhelming gratitude that I had found her, that I had been brave enough to walk away from comfort and toward genuine love. "John Williams," the officiant said, "do you take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better or worse, for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, till death do you part?" "I do," I said clearly, my voice carrying through the ballroom. "Absolutely I do." "And Deborah Martinez, do you take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better or worse, for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, till death do you part?" Deborah's eyes were shining with tears. "I do. With my whole heart, I do." "Then by the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss your bride." I pulled Deborah close and kissed her as our guests erupted in applause. It was perfect, untainted by secrets or shame, witnessed by everyone who mattered to us. As we walked back down the aisle together, I spotted Sophia in the back row. She was crying silently, mascara running down her face again. She looked smaller, somehow, diminished, like seeing the wedding had finally broken through her delusions about getting me back. The reception was lavish. I had spared no expense, wanting Deborah to have the celebration she deserved. There was a 12-piece band, an open bar with top-shelf everything, a dinner menu designed by a Michelin-starred chef, and a 7-tier cake that was almost too beautiful to cut. During the speeches, Deborah's mother stood and raised her glass. "I've watched my daughter date many men over the years," she said warmly. "But I've never seen her as happy as she's been these past few months with John. He sees her, truly sees her, and values her for who she is. That's the foundation of real love." She paused, her expression times to 70c, becoming more serious. "And I want to say something else. Some people here today might think this all happened too fast, that this wedding is somehow wrong because of family complications. But I disagree completely. John treated someone with kindness and respect for 3 years, and that person took advantage of him. My daughter saw that injustice and chose to stand with someone honorable. There's nothing wrong with that. There's everything right with it. The guests applauded, and I saw Sophia flinch in the back of the room. She knew that speech was directed at her, a public acknowledgement from her own aunt that she had been in the wrong. Later, during the dancing, I spotted Sophia trying to approach the head table. Security, which I had hired specifically for this possibility, politely intercepted her, but I waved them off. Let her through. Deborah tensed beside me, but I squeezed her hand reassuringly. It's okay. She deserves a chance to say whatever she needs to say. Sophia approached slowly, like she was walking toward a firing squad. Up close, I could see how much these 3 months had aged her. There were shadows under her eyes, new lines around her mouth. She looked exhausted, defeated, broken. John, she said quietly, could I talk to you, just for a minute? I glanced at Deborah, who nodded reluctantly. We stepped away from the table to a quiet corner of the ballroom, still visible to everyone but out of earshot. I'm not here to beg, Sophia said, her voice hoarse. I know that ship has sailed. I needed to say this to your face. I'm sorry. I'm genuinely sorry for how I treated you. I waited, saying nothing. I was so focused on what other people thought, on building an image, that I couldn't see what I actually had. You were kind and generous and loyal, and I treated you like you were disposable. Like you were embarrassing. She wiped her eyes. I've lost everything, John. My job, my friends, my family barely speaks to me. And I deserve all of it. I know I do. A bullet comment appeared. This is genuine remorse, not manipulation. Sophia's finally understanding what she destroyed. I'm glad you're happy, Sophia continued. I mean that. Deborah is good for you. She treats you the way I should have. And seeing you two together, I finally understand what I threw away. Not your money, that was never what mattered. I threw away someone who actually loved me, who would have built a real life with me if I had just been honest. She took a shaky breath. So I'm sorry, and I'm going to leave now and never bother you again. I just needed you to know that I finally see it. I finally understand. And I'll regret what I did for the rest of my life. She turned to walk away. But I stopped her with a word. Sophia. She looked back, hope flickering dangerously in her eyes. I accept your apology, I said calmly. And I hope you learn from this. I hope you find someone someday who you're proud to be seen with, and I hope you treat them better than you treated me. But you're right about one thing. We're done. Completely done. Take care of yourself. The hope in her eyes died, replaced by resigned acceptance. She nodded once. Then walked toward the exit with her shoulders slumped. The picture of defeat. I watched her go and felt nothing but relief. No anger, no satisfaction in her pain, just relief that this chapter was finally completely closed. I returned to Deborah, who was watching me carefully. What did she say? That she was sorry. That she understands now. Do you believe her? I thought about it. Yes. But it doesn't change anything. Some lessons come too late. Deborah pulled me onto the dance floor as the band started playing our song. We swayed together surrounded by people who genuinely cared about us, celebrating a love that was honest and public and real. A final bullet comment appeared, glowing softly at the edge of my vision. Story complete. The hidden boyfriend disappeared, found real love, and moved on. Sometimes the best revenge is just living well. I smiled and held my wife closer, not bothering to wonder if the comments were real or imagined. It didn't matter anymore. What mattered was this moment, this woman, this life I had chosen for myself instead of accepting the one someone else had assigned me. What are you thinking about? Deborah whispered. Just that I'm the luckiest man alive, I said honestly. Good answer. She laughed. You're stuck with me now, John Williams. No more hiding, no more secrets, no more being anyone's backup plan. Sounds absolutely perfect to me. And it was.